So,
all right. Well, I heard a rumor that we've got a guest who's here to join us for this last block. Did you hear anything about this?
I heard there was an intruder wandering around backstage and was threatening to burst in.
Intruder? No. Simon, you didn't let anybody sketchy back in, did you?
Oh, hey.
If Mark Phillips can wear the silly hat, so can I.
Mine's going back on now.
This is my Suffolk farmer's hat.
Oh, that is a Ken Burnett. That is a good look.
That completes the look around here. Okay, that's now.
Right, I'll come in as well on that. All right, I'm ready.
Oh, good Lord.
Let's finish off.
Style now.
Ken, your sessions today have been phenomenal. We're so grateful to have had you over this time with us. It's been just delightful. Thank you so much.
And thanks to you two for being such great hosts. And, really my job today was very easy because I recorded my stuff a while back. And so you don't get nervous. You just sit and watch it and check out inane comments in the chat box. It's very easy. So I've had a very easy day.
So can you listen to yourself? Because I have to, every time I have a session that's me, I have to mute myself because it sounds like there's this hysterical woman in my ears.
I just switched off. I've learned over the years to have a glazed look, and just pretend that I'm listening to people I don't. So
you have a lovely.
I never listen to me.
Yeah, you have a lovely soft Scottish burr, which is pleasant to listen to. My Scottish burr, my nasal Cockney whine is not necessarily so attractive to the ear.
Well, that's true, Mark, but there you go. Anyway,
actually,
thank you here.
That reminds me, Mark, you promised to do a few accents. Do you want to, is there an accent you want to pull out?
It's too late now. I was gonna do one link in very much Cockney accent, but I won't do it. It'd be more fun for the Americans, certainly not the Brits, because they'll just hear it all the time. Maybe I won't even do it in Australia. It would only be in North America that would go down.
So Ken, what's coming up next in the last part of the magnum opus of Ken Burnett that we've been experiencing today?
You might ask me that. I've forgotten. I think it's the last two sessions, isn't it?
It is.
So it's about, this is terrible. I can't remember. But it's really difficult doing something like this because there's so much great stuff to get into individual giving. I mean, what a subject. You can just talk about that for weeks on end, and to try and just condense it into an hour or so is really, really difficult. So I can't remember.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we
try and bring it all together and try and make some sort of sense out of it. But it's about creativity. Session 9 is about creativity.
Cool.
Which is pretty important in line of what we do, and also because there's so much scope. What we have is the most wonderful subject that has endless capacity for invention and inspiration and creativity. It's just incredible. So, and there's nothing more than individual giving and the recruitment, retention, and development of donors. You've just got such a canvas to work with that I think we're fabulously lucky to work in this field. I keep thinking one day I ought to get a proper job, but it's never happened. I don't know how I've stayed so long in fundraising. Everybody else seems to find something better to do, but I never have.
Yeah, what else could we do but tell stories and talk to donors?
I think you're unemployable, frankly. So.
I agree with you. I could not agree with you more.
Yeah. No, I've really enjoyed doing this because I think this is a great subject, and it's so important that people get it right, because our job is nothing less than to change the world, and that's the only good work for any man or woman in these days. It's really such an important thing to do. And this session, I think, has been all about how to not just do it right, but how to think right about it. And it's really great. Mark, your session on the future after the coronavirus, I think we're going to see at long last that the donor is coming to the center. And, all these years of banging on endlessly about it, and I think, we've all done our share of that, I think it's actually coming right. And that gives me great hope for the future of our species. By that, I mean fundraising chatter.
What people want, what we're hearing now is, we spoke about value exchange earlier on, but the value they want is this change in society, and it's the first time it's become so strong. And we will be the channel that makes that happen, as long as we engage people in the right way.
But also, as long as we practice a higher standard of integrity in public life, because I think we look around now, particularly on both sides of the Atlantic, and we see the lack of truthfulness and the casual disregard for honesty and probity in our political leaders. And we've got to kick against that. We cannot afford to copy what's happening in public life now. We need to really condemn that with every fiber of our being.
Yeah. And I think that speaks so much to what you were saying about integrity. That integrity is what you do. It's not what you do when people are looking. Integrity is what happens when no one is looking. And I think for the first time that I'm aware anyway, there is more of a movement of people who are saying, it really does matter to me that my politicians, that my leaders, that the people around me, I trust as a human being. And I know that what they're doing behind closed doors is good and decent and not awful and oppressive.
I hope you're right, Jen. I hope you're right. I'm not 100% sure that we're home and dry on that. And I just think we see every day the need for us. If you can't trust the voluntary sector, if you can't trust your good causes, then who in this world can you trust? And for me, that gives us a moral responsibility to do this thing properly. And if you look at all the things that went wrong in fundraising in the terrible time that we had a few years ago in the UK, there was at the core of everything an absence of integrity, and you can really see it. And there were people in offices who should have been thinking, wait a minute, no, let's not do it like that. That's not the right way to do this thing. And I do think there is a right and a wrong way to do fundraising. And if fundraising doesn't have that moral dimension, then I don't think it's much use to anybody. And really what we do is one of the most important things that people can do with their clothes on. So, we need to do it right.
So let's not get real jobs. Let's just stick with these great jobs. Clothing optional.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to say, Ken, I think that the line for me for the conference was your point that you made about wouldn't it be great if we removed artifice from our work? And
actually, Mark, I wish I could claim that was original, but it was one of the recommendations that came up when we were doing the Commission on the Donor Experience, which you were heavily involved in, of course. And we had subcontracted the whole of the kind of individual giving direct marketing sectors to groups of kind of hard-nosed advertising types. And they came up with that. Yeah. And I thought, like scales fell from my eyes. I thought, what we're doing here is worth doing, because these people have actually come to this realization through working through what delivering a good donor experience. And I cut my teeth on underlining and PSs and short paragraphs and Johnson boxes and, you know, all of those devices and designs and, you know, sliding gift levels and, you know, things like that. And really, it comes back to the truth told well. I think we've got the best stories in the world to tell, and we've got the best of reasons for telling them with power and passion that will move people to action. What could be better than that?
Nothing. Absolutely
We've got it all. And the one thing that I didn't mention in all of my 10 sessions is that actually giving is good for you. Giving, you live longer. Your brain will work better. Your marriage will be stronger. Everything points, you know, how can we not succeed in selling this fantastic, fulfilling, meaningful activity to people who've got more money than they really need for their daily survival? It's such a fantastic proposition that we have. Let's just go for it.